Alright folks, so what we're looking at here is a Xiegu G90. It's a newer model, and one of the things I noticed, I had one before, and it had like an extruded aluminum case on the top and the bottom that I think helped with some heat sinks, and it added a lot of weight, and this feels a lot lighter than the first one that I had. Also, I want to point out that it has power poles on the back instead of the goofy connector that they used to come with, which is awesome. In this video, what we're going to do today is we're going to do an in-depth power test of this G90 and find out if its power claims are fact or fiction. Here's some general specifications that I got from the Radio Oddity website, and I'll have a link below where you can check it out if you want. But down here you see power supply voltage, and I got a big red arrow pointing at it, so you shouldn't miss it. And what it says is it's 10.5 to 16.5 voltage DC negative ground. Makes sense. Must be 13.8 to 15 volts if need 20 watts. Anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to test at 10.5 volts, we're going to test at 13.8, and then we are going to test at 16.5. We're going to do our tests at 10 watts and 20 watts respectively. Bring your electronic projects to life with PCBWay.com. Get high quality PCB manufacturing and assembly services at unbeatable prices. Join us in celebrating our 10th anniversary tour. Take advantage of exclusive coupons so you can save money on your next project. Participate in our charity badge drive. From prototypes to production, PCBWay.com is your trusted partner. Visit PCBWay.com today and turn your ideas into reality. Alright folks, so here's the test setup that we're going to use today, and a couple of things I want to point out. We're going to actually be testing this on CW, so that way we get a constant carrier. So here is a CW key that I'm going to be using, and I think it's from morse.us, but I can't remember. Anyhow, we're going to power our transceiver with this MFJ 4230 DMP, and it is a switching power supply that's capable of delivering 30 amps, but we're not going to need anywhere near that. So the power from here is going to go into the radio, and then the signal from the radio is going to come out, and it's going to go into the Nisei digital SWR and watt meter. And we can measure power and SWR with this, but we're not interested in SWR. Anyhow, over here on the right-hand side, you might see some coaxial cable into a dummy load. So we're going to be transmitting into a dummy load for the duration of this test. Okay, so here we are set up at the test, and one of the things I wanted to point out is that if you look at the power supply, you can see it says 13.8 volts, and then you can see the reading on the radio is 13.7, so we're probably getting a little bit of loss in the power cable that we're using there. See, I pointed at it. And that was just a quick test, and when we do that, you actually see the readout on the radio drop about a half a volt. Let's run through the bands at the 20 watt test. I should have mentioned these tests are at 13.8 volts, and now we are going to go through the 10 watt test. Now we're going to do the test at 10.5 volts, and one of the things I want you to pay attention to is how long it takes to get the power output to the appropriate level. It's a little bit slower on this one. Now we do the test at 16.5 volts. And we almost got it. There we go. And that's going to wrap up our testing. Let's take a look at some charts of the data that we collected. Okay, so here's a chart of some of the data that we collected, and the first test that we are going to look at are our 20-watt tests. You can look at the legend on this table, and you can see the blue line is 10.5 volts, the red line is 13.8 volts, and the yellow line is 16.5 volts. Now, it should be no surprise that at 16.5 volts, we had a little bit higher power output from our radio. But one of the things I wanted to mention is that we did see during the testing that the power into the radio, or what the radio was reading, was 0.1 of a volt less than what the output power was being displayed on our switching power supply. Not that big of a deal. The other thing is that when we keyed up, what we noticed was a drop in voltage of about half of a volt. And so that may have impacted our test a little bit. The other thing is that we had some connectors and some coax between the radio and the SWR and power meter, and that may have added a little bit of attenuation. But overall, I think these results look pretty good. We were at 16.5 volts above 19 watts out. We never quite hit 20, but I think that's okay. And then just below 19 at the start on 160 meters at 13.8 volts. But in any case, I'm happy with that. Now, nobody's surprised to see that at 10.5 volts, we did fall below 19 watts. Particularly the ones that were impacted the most are the higher bands, 20, 15, and 10. But in those cases, we were still above 16. So overall, it's pretty serviceable. And I was actually a little surprised. I expected 10.5 volts to do significantly worse in this particular test. Now, here are the results of the 10-watt test, and I don't know if you noticed while you were watching the testing take place. You can't see the 10.5 volt line, but it's there. It's behind the red and yellow. It's just the order of the data in the way that I made the graph. But we had a lot of consistency here at the 10-watt power output setting on the radio. It was pretty much the exact same across all bands and all voltage settings, which is pretty consistent, and I was surprised. Also, it was above 10 watts in every case. So that's awesome. +1 for the G90. Anyhow, what I want to say now is thank you everybody for watching. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or recommendations about this video or the test that I've done, go ahead and post them below and I'll do my best to respond. As always, thanks for watching, folks. Much appreciated.